people to raid with quests, things that are full of joy and energy. I'm going to tell you about two of them, two very particular ones, mostly because we'll be shopping the game around, taking it to shows, and these are the public quests you're actually going to get to see. So I'll explain it to you in that sort of hyperbole style. Then when you actually get to see the game, you'll realise that I wasn't lying. And then in fact, it is truly joyous. So there are two great public quests at the start of the Greenskins and the start of the Dwarves. We'll do the Greenskins first, mostly because I like them. The thing about the Greenskins, right, is their area starts this enormous lock. It's a big gate with water behind it. And it's got dwarves in it. You know what orcs are like. They want to fight, they want to fight, they want to fight, they want to fight. So they're desperate to fight the dwarves. The dwarves, on the other hand, realise that if they go out there, they could be in a bit of trouble. And they need to make sure that they're defended and they're looked after. So what the orcs are going to figure out is how to get the dwarves out. And the problem is that the dwarves are behind these enormous stone gates. You know, dwarven craftsmanship, last forever, can't possibly be opened. It really irritates the orcs, so they headbutted them for a while, they scratched at them for a while, they farted at them for a while, nothing worked. And then this big giant turned up. And the great thing about giants in Warhammer is actually they'll fight for anyone as long as you get them drunk. I mean, that's basically a giant, huge, lumbering drunkard. So, the giant's there and he's bumbling around and he's got these squigs. You know how great squigs are. They're bouncing around his feet and they're irritating him. So you kill the squigs and get rid of those. And then you have to get the giant drunk, find the barrels of beer, pour them down his throat until he's absolutely smashed off his face. Then you get hold of one of these big bombs, one of the big naval bombs that the dwarves have built. You know, those big sea mines that they have. And the idea is they get the giant to pick up the bomb and sort of roll the bomb towards the gates. The trouble is, the orcs can't really explain to the giant what the bomb is, and the giant's so drunk by this stage, he's got no idea what he wants him to do. So you can imagine, these orcs are there going, "Come on now, big lad, pick up the big bomby thing, the big round stuff what go boom." And the giant was like, "Huh, huh, huh." So the shaman, the little goblin shaman, came up with a fantastic plan. He got together with a little squig herder, and they go over to the big mine, and they paint it as though it's a great big squig. And so it's this big orange squig with teeth and eyes, and it's sort of sitting there. Then when they get the giant really drunk, they go, "Oi, big lad, pick up the big squig." And then the giant goes, "Ooh, I can pick up the big squig." And our animators did a great job. I mean, he actually picks it up, rolls it onto his belly, just like a fat person really carrying stuff. It's awesome. And it waddles about with the big mine, and it goes over to this like enormous bridge that you can't get onto, and sort of rolls it down there. It blows up. Well, obviously, that drives the dwarves completely mental. And they come storming out. And they don't just come out in a few of them, no, hordes of them come out. Wave after wave of them come out, and it goes through all the different types of dwarves that you're going to fight. So there's iron breakers, and there's engineers, there's all sorts, there's hammerers. It's really, really good. And it ends with like a big baddie, a big dwarven hero, and he comes out and he's had enough of it, comes out, smashes you around, and then you finally get to like beat him up. Meanwhile, the dwarves basically figure out how to close the gates again, and the whole thing cycles around and restarts. The beauty of this public quest is you can arrive in any stage and have a right good laugh and kill stunties and see a big fat drunk man pick up an enormous bomb painted like a squig. I mean, how great is that? And you'll be able to play it. But that's not all. We'll also have the Dwarven public quest. Now, the Dwarven public quest is not the sort of shameless comic gaggery that we just did for Greenskins. No, 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 no. This one builds on the actual, idea and concepts interwoven within Warhammer, while still having mindless violence at its core. This is all about a dwarven area. It's got a big dwarf engineer, and he lost his wife, Helga, brave Helga, killed by Greenskins. Who else? And the engineer became so possessed by this that he decided that in her memory he needs to kill as many Greenskins as possible. But he wants to do it in a way that is interesting and useful and shows just how much he loved that wonderful woman. So he went off and he built a gun. Not just any gun, but an enormous rail gun. I mean, this gun is big. Think of the biggest thing you can think of and then scale it up by about 12%. I mean, it's enormous. It's got this big row of cannonballs outside it. Some have got dwarven runes on. One of them's got like a squig herder chained to it, and it's very, very silly. The gun is so big that it fires so far that you can't actually see where it's targeted. There's like an enormous valley, and there's this haze, and so the dwarves are stuck with this problem. They've got this enormous gun, but they've got no way of sighting it. So you wander through the level, and you go over the bridges, and you kill everything, and you pull these, push, what do you call it, barrels off bridges. They blow things to pieces. Fabulous. You then find your way all the way to the other side through the haze, and then you've got to kill loads and loads of these orcs who have got this enormous boss. This boss is mega hard. He's a rank 40. He's the sort of guy who, if he actually came down off his big mega war perch, he'd slaughter everyone. And there's no way you can kill him. So you wander in there, kill a load of his lads, and then you find these barrels of gunpowder, you collect all those. While you're doing that, he keeps sending down bigger and bigger lads, and you realise sooner or later he's going to come down. And when he comes down, you're all dead. But you've got dwarven technology on your side. Get enough of these barrels, kill enough of these guys, and these dwarven engineers run into the middle of the encampment, and they set up this big signal flare using the rune of accuracy, and it goes whoosh, flies way up into the sky, 40, 50 feet, and then explodes, making this beautiful dwarven rune, perfect in geometric detail, I can tell you. And then if you're way over at Helga, you can see this big rune go ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-bam, and then Helga trundles into life, big operatic movements. It's great. You should actually stay and watch Helga fire. She's marvellous. And then there's this guy called Crossmire. He did all the special effects for Helga. She rocks. And then way over where the rune went up, you hear this whistling. It's sort of like World War II doodlebug thing. You sort of hear this, and then it hits, and an entire mountainside collapses. I'm talking the cloud of smoke, the rings, it's a tremendous sight to see. And you know what makes you feel proud being a dwarf? I mean, you might be small, you might have a dirty beard, you might have no gold, but by hell, you can blow up half a mountain and drop it on a big orc boss. I mean, how cool's that? So, public quests, they're not just a good idea, they're actually fabulously well realised.